Okay, so last year in 2022, we had a really fun Sundays with Serby interview where I was interviewing Steve Serby about his Q&A with Jay Horwitz, the longtime PR media relations director for the New York Mets. And Steve had a nice little surprise for me because Jay Horwitz was at his place and came through and did the interview. It was really fun, and we did that. And now Mr. Horwitz is going to be getting a medal next Saturday, June 3rd, inducted into the Mets Hall of Fame. He's going to get a really good honor there. And guess what we've got here? We've got a little surprise for everybody. We've got both Steve Serby and Jay Horwitz joining me now to talk about it. Guys, how you doing? Steve, Jay, what's going on?
Good to see everybody again. No surprises today, Dexter.
No surprises today. No, you were here on one side of the screen. Steve is on the other, but we got no surprises today. Steve, how's it going?
You out though, Dexter. We didn't fool you though.
Yeah, we're good. I'm glad you both are here for me. Jay, I know that you did this Q&A recently with Steve with all the other guys going in. I got to ask you, you're getting honored with all these other guys. What does that mean to you, all your years of service for the Mets, to be able to be in this position where you're going to get this medal, get honored? What does it mean to you?
Well, you know, I started out, Dexter, started out as a lousy athlete. I got cut from my Little League team in Epstein's in New Jersey. I never would have imagined I'd be getting any kind of Hall of Fame recognition. And I'm really thrilled to be working for the Mets for 44 years, a long time, way past my bar mitzvah age, Dexter. It's just something I never thought would happen in my lifetime, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, and you have done so much in your career and through that time. And Steve, I got to ask you, because you've done a couple of Q&As with Jay, or somebody who's known Jay, worked in the media like myself, and Jay has been so helpful to all of us. What's it been like doing these Q&As with Jay? And did you learn a lot about Jay that you did not think that you knew before?
I wish I could do one with Jay every week. He's easily in the top 5 of my all-time Q&As that I've been doing since 2004, Eli Manning being the very first one. But, you know, Jay is always entertaining, and he was amazing at what he did. He had this unique ability to make the players comfortable. And if, as Howie Rose said in the Q&A, if Jay Horwitz is not a Mets Hall of Famer, then nobody is. But Jay has one regret, right, Jay?
Yeah, I think my father wasn't alive. My father and my mom got me involved with sports, Steve. And my dad passed away long before I took the Met job in 80. My mom died in 90. She got to go to the 86 World Series. I wish my dad, I know he'd be looking up at me from having my father Milton, and my mother will too. So I know they'll both be with me on Saturday.
Yeah, they'll be with you, Jay, for sure. And I know they're proud looking down on you for here. But I wonder if one of the regrets I think you're talking about there, Steve, is the fact that you were not able to get a Howard Johnson deal done, Jay, for Hojo. How did that not come about?
Terrible PR on my part. Howard Johnson, 3 years of 30-30. I couldn't get him a commercial for Howard Johnson's Motorins. And now there's not too many left. So I'm going to go over next week to meet the guy from Clifton on Route 3 to tell him why did he come to see Howard get inducted to the Hall of Fame, and maybe sign a deal with him where Howard could be endorse his restaurant and sit here making ice cream sodas for the guys.
I think that's a good move. I think it's something that should have been done a long time ago, but I think it's a good move. Never late to never, right?
Great marketing stuff, Dexter.
Yeah, I think it's good. Steve, what do you think about that? You feel like that's an endorsement deal that should have happened before?
Oh, there's no question. Howard's father thought it should have happened. Look, maybe if Howard can't get one, maybe Jay can get one. Maybe Jay can get the endorsement.
I'm for the Jay. How do you feel about that?
I'm gonna give it my all. You know, they've gone by the wayside. The Howard Johnson's kind of died away, so I got one last shot at it with the one in Clifton. So I'm gonna give it my all to get this done next week.
See, and that's what the
Jay, Jay also, by the way, has an unbelievable podcast. Jay, can we talk about that? Would you mind talking about it?
Sure. It's amazing conversations, and I just try and pick guys to have a rapport with. You know, don't use any notes. They did something with Lindsey Berra this week about yogi. I've done, John Franco, Darryl. One of my favorites was Phil Simms. So it's just trying people to have a rapport. We could talk, just detail stories and nothing about stats and stuff. Just human interest stories that how I related to the person I'm interviewing.
Yeah, well, that's great. People got to check that out. Go ahead, Steve.
As I recall, Dex, you can take a nap. I'm gonna take over here for a few minutes if you don't mind. Jay, as I recall, didn't you get lost on the way to your job interview with Frank Cashin?
Unfortunately, I did, Steve. April 1st, 1980.
Of course it was April 1st.
Yeah, we went back to home, right? So I was daydreaming, going on the Grand Central, and I kept going. He made a right, and I got onto what's now the Jackie Robinson Highway, and I missed the turn off for Shea, so I stopped at a cemetery there. I called Frank Cashin and said, Frank, I got a problem. I'm going to be 2 hours late. They said, Jay, that's not the right way to start your career with the Mets. And I said, I apologize, Mr. Cashin. I got there about 11:30, and somehow 44 years later, I'm still here.
Hey, you were late, but I guess you were right on time, Jay. That's all it matters. You were right on time when you needed to be. The other guys that you're going in with, Gary Cohen, Howie Rose, Howard Johnson, Al Leiter, what do those guys mean to you?
Well, Gary and Howard, and Gary and Howie are really supporters of the alumni program. They know more about the Mets than I do. And Al was probably one of the biggest big game pitchers in Mets history. In 1990, pitched a 2-hit shutout to get us to the playoffs. And Howard has really been underrated. We won a home run title, RBI title the same year, 3 years to 30-30. Long overdue getting in. Really one of the most underrated players in Mets history. And right now, it's not going to be underrated anymore.
Yeah, one of the great players. Go ahead, Steve.
Jay, talk about what it means to you to give back to the community following 9/11.
Yeah, you put something on my tombstone, Steve, was being a part of the 2001 team. Everybody talks about Mike's home run, but with so much more, the visits to the firehouses, to Ground Zero, the police station, had a great group of guys then, Leiter and Franco, Zeal, Ventura, Bobby V, Jeff Wilpon, Edgardo Alfonso. We never really said no to any charity. We were always there for people. And I just feel that team made a difference. And the 20th anniversary of the 9/11 game a year or two ago was a very moving moment. We had about 20 guys back. And, just like you feel you're part of something that was really special. And, like we made a difference in the community.
Yeah, definitely made a difference there for sure. Before we let you go, Jay, do you have, it's been a lot, it's a very interesting question to ask you, but do you have a favorite Met memory? Is there one that stands out above all the you've seen in your 44 years working with the Amazians?
A memory?
Yeah.
Probably Game 6 of the World Series. I'm sitting in Davey Johnson's office with Keith Hernandez and Darryl Johnson, our late coaches. So Gary Carter starts off the rally in the bottom of the 10th. I said to Keith, I got to go pee. You can't move. Pee into your pants. So I stayed there, peed in my pants. The rally came on. We won. Next day, we erased a 3-0 lead, won the World Series. So the motto is sometimes peeing in your pants is not bad.
Sometimes it's not bad. That's when you win a World Series. Not bad at all, right, Steve?
No.
Not bad at all. And Jay, also, why did Mets fans mean so much to you?
Well, because to me, the Mets fan is the everyday fan. When I tried to answer every letter, return every call, because if you neglect the fans are what makes us go. If you lose the fans, our Mets fans are very understanding people. We've really only won 2 World Series in our lifetime, and they stick with us, and hopefully this will be another year we win a championship, but they deserve everything we get, and no one should not be neglected. No phone call, no letter should not be returned. That's what I try to do in my time here with the Mets.
Well, Jay, the Mets fans always showed you love. You've shown the Mets love. We like showing you love as well here. We are honored to have been able to work with you. I know Steve and I definitely feel that way, and also we are very proud to see you get this medal that you will receive on Saturday as the other Mets get inducted into the Hall of Fame. That is the great Jay Horwitz, along with the great Steve Serby.
Thank you, Steve. It's your friend.
Hey, Jay, thank you for everything over the years. But I wanted to ask Jay, Dex.
Yes.
What about your 3 favorite Mets memories?
My 3, see, Jay, Steve always has good questions for me, and this is a good one. My 3 favorite Mets memories. Okay, here we go. I'm going to go. First one is 2000, Mike Hampton winning Game 5, 7-0 shutout win. Mets get to the World Series. That was the first Mets World Series I got to see. I think my next one, I'm going to go with 2006 when the Mets clinched the NL East. I actually was in Pittsburgh to see them try to do it, but they were unable to. They got swept by the Pirates. I remember that. And then my last one, I'm going to go with 2015, September 2nd, 2015. I was down in D.C. with my cousin to see the Mets. They had the great comeback win, down 7-1 to the Nationals. And Mets fans going home on the train that day were all happy in D.C. That was a really good moment for Mets fans. Obviously, they came back and went to the World Series. Go ahead, Jay.
Did Kirk Neuenhuis hit a home run in that game?
Kirk Neuenhuis hit the home run in that game. Good memory, Jay. That's right. That is correct. That was a great – that's one of the more fun road trips I had as a fan with one of my cousins who's a big Mets fan. Shout out to my cousin Monique, big Mets fan. Okay. So that's a good one. Those are my 3 favorites, Steve. Those are the 3 favorites.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the fourth would be this segment.
Oh, absolutely. The fourth is this segment. I got to do a segment with Jay Horwitz and Steve Serby, 2 legends. Guys. Yeah, it was great. Yeah. Jay, thank you. Steve, thank you. Appreciate you guys.
Thanks as always, man.
Anytime.
Congratulations, Jay. Congrats.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Bye.